You're listening to your favorite podcast about Flesh and Blood and its community. Welcome to Last Ditch Effort. All right, welcome back to this week's episode of Last Ditch Effort. I am Maurice, joined by my co-hosts Ralph and Patrick. How are you guys?
Hello. I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing okay. How about you, Patrick?
Yeah, good. You said like this week's episode, as if the last 15 weeks we would have recorded something.
Yes.
We were just busy playing, right?
Exactly. We were just busy winning events. Very sorry.
Yeah, it's been a couple of months without an episode, but that's okay. That means we have lots of stuff to talk about this week.
That is true. And also just a new set dropped and huge bannings and Heroes Living Legend and all those things happening.
Yeah, I think since I remember we were talking about the Hunted world premiere and what we did there. That was our last episode, I believe.
Oof.
And now we're here, 4 months later with a new set, new bannings, new meta, like 3 Heroes Living Legended in the meantime.
It's fine. All good. So do we quickly want to recap like what happened since?
I think we'll hit the highlights.
Yeah, let's do that. So, Maurice, what were your highlights? Don't say Enigma reaching Living Legend status.
Yeah, honestly, my highlight was playing the first Pro Tour that I've ever participated in. That was fun in London. I made the unfortunate mistake of playing Dash IE, which I thought was going to be better than it was. It was like, okay, I think I did 2 and 3 in CC and then 1 and 2 in draft, which was a little disappointing because I thought draft was going to be better for me. But yeah, I think I was a little overwhelmed by the quality of players at the Pro Tour, I won't lie. But yeah, it was fun. It was a cool event. I quite enjoyed it. It was nice playing the Pro Tour for the first time.
I can imagine.
Overall, like a cool event, Pro Tour London. I feel like I think it was the biggest Pro Tour ever, the biggest tournament ever, like in total players attending. I don't know if the calling was the biggest ever as well.
I think the PT was for sure, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like just a crazy, like kind of milestone event for the game.
Well, was it around 400 or 450 people?
Something like that, yeah.
At this point, I have the feeling like every next Pro Tour is like, this is the biggest Pro Tour ever because like the player base is growing and in more and more countries you can qualify, and like the more qualification tournaments you have, the more people you have. So the Pro Tour is bigger. People save their PTIs. Yeah, from here on, I feel like it's growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's harder to save PTIs now, right? Because like PT events and worlds don't give permanent PTIs again anymore.
Yeah.
And you just qualify for the next event. So you can't save up and gift to your buddies as much as in the past.
I think they want to avoid the 1,000-player Pro Tour or something, and they're working to make PTI. The PTIs you can redeem for any Pro Tour are going to be a little bit harder to attain, I think. So if you win, I believe if you top 8 a calling or a Pro Tour or something, you only get qualified for the next Pro Tour. You don't get a PTI anymore, something like that, right?
That's wild.
Yeah. But there's a lot more like just PTI and ProQuest Plus events now. There's so many battle hardens, and every battle harden comes with like a ProQuest Plus attached. So I feel like overall there might still be an increase in PTIs. But anyway, that was definitely my highlight in the last couple of months, but didn't win anything, didn't really have any victories to talk about. How about you, Patrick?
Yeah, so I have a PTI now. So yeah, there was a ProQuest Singapore season, and once again I thought Nu was a good pick. And the first one I played, I lost in top 8 against our Swiss national champ on Aurora. My sideboard plan against Aurora was just like fatigue them, as almost every other matchup plan. And the cool thing is, like, I played, I don't know, more than ish games or something new over 2 PQs, and not a single game got into time. So people can't just, that's why I don't understand the CYB banning thing, because it's like, yeah, games take too long and whatnot. Yeah, none of the games went to time. But the second one I won. And it was a crazy tournament because I played, like, when I went there, I was like, okay, I can play. Enigma was Living Legend by then. I was like, okay, I can play against anything except Prism. Against Prism, my game plan is just basically go to lunch early. So round 3, I think I get paired into Kevin, another local player, and he sits down and he plays Prism. Suddenly, I don't know, Enigma got LL, so now he's playing Prism. And I was like, oh, shit, this is so bad, right? And they come towards us because the whole event was streamed and we were table 1, and they're like, do you guys want to play on camera? And then I look at the guy and say, like, you don't want to see this. This is, like, not an interesting game. I don't have any answers for Prism. For me, it's an auto loss. This will be done in 15 minutes. They should stream something else, right? And then the game went exactly as I imagined it. I lost. And I won every other game in Swiss. And then I sit down and I see Kevin, like, around the, like, 1 or 2 tables lower, and already thinking, did I lose my last round on purpose? So I have lower seating, so I'm not in the same bracket as the Prism. And then I'm like, yeah, but I don't know their standings. Like, I didn't look at it, and I don't want to risk bubbling out, right? So I play my last game, and then I'm, I think, 2nd seed or 3rd seed, something like this. And then the top 8 pairings come out, and it's just Kevin on Prism again. And I'm like, shit, just don't tilt, accept it, right? And then I sided in just everything. I think I was playing 70 cards in the matchup. I decided to go first and pass with an action point. And yeah, but then, like, my first dagger attack hit and I had a levels, and I'm like, okay, this is so weird. Does he not have any blocking cards? What is happening? And then I managed in the first turn keeping an arsenal and banishing 2 blue heralds and the blue angelic wrath or something like this. And I'm like, okay, there might be something here, but, like, I thought I can't win this except if it goes to fatigue. It's untimed, right? I can resolve all my CYBs. I pitch my yellow CYBs for library. Like, I came with a plan, right? And then 3 turns later, the Prism does not have an aura on board and is on, like, 10 life. And I'm like, wait a minute, I could potentially pressure, right? And then I had one decision where it's either I block and play CYB, or I take everything and just, like, transcend and attack. And so I swing dagger, and the dagger hits. And then I'm like, okay, I transcend. I play both blue heralds. I strip the entire hand, and the turn later I won. And we both look at each other, we're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, it's like 1 in a 1,000 scenario, right? Because I didn't have go again attacks. Like, yeah, I was playing new fatigue new. So yeah, that happened, and then a 2-hour game top 4 and another 2-hour game finals or something like this. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. But when I was done, I thought it was still, like, light outside. I lost track of time completely because there were lights behind me, and I thought it was a window. And I look at the time, like 10:05 p.m. or something. I'm like, what just happened? Yeah, so now I put some LL points to Nu's name and managed to qualify for Singapore. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah,
That's
thanks.
really awesome.
Again.
It was a cool game to watch and stream.
Which one? The finals?
Both, actually. The one against Florian was cool too.
The one against Florian, if we manage to recast it or analyze it in the future, I would love to do that. There were some decisions that I want to talk about with you guys. But yeah, we can do that another time. Ralf, what about you?
Is it your decision or Daya's decision?
It's my decision, because at one, so there are 2 points in the game where, or one for sure, where I know I will lose, except if I bluff, and then Daya falls for the bluff. And then there is another scenario where, like, if Daya thinks I'm bluffing again, then it's bad for him again. And in both scenarios, it was like the coin cost that went my way. So that was a little bit lucky.
Okay.
But yeah, we can talk about that game another time.
Sure.
Ralph, what about you? How did your season go?
I got found by Viet Pham, actually. the whole PQ season.
That was your highlight?
Yeah. I always went like 4-0 or 5-0 in Swiss. Then I met Viet and he wrecked me.
Shit.
Patrick, you finally took revenge in the finals, right?
Yeah.
When you're winning.
Yeah. Overall, the LDF podcast reigned supreme.
Yeah. I made today 2 in London, which was fine. I wasn't too happy about the end results, but I think I had a mid-season. I was playing and getting to top 8 and whatnot, but not really.
But also you played a new hero, right? I mean,
yeah, Maurice lent me his Roden stack. Thanks for that. I still have it. And I'm still trying out some stuff, going more arcane, and then I tried doing more attacks and stuff. I'm still figuring it out. But it's a lot of fun. That's why I kept playing, and I think it has a good spot in the meta as well.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Verdance is positioned fairly well.
Till you get matched up into a Fatigue Nu or any Nu at all.
Yeah, the problem is not the Nu. The problem is like the AB4 and
Aces
Respites.
Yeah, but even against like normal Nu, it's still like, I don't think it's like Nu is super favored, I think. In that matchup.
I think there is an angle. We need to practice that matchup, but I think I know how I would lose.
So speaking of the meta, do you guys want to quickly touch on the banned and restricted announcement that we got like right at the end of the ProQuest season?
Yeah, we can do that. I don't understand that like all the 0-4-4 one card go again aggressive cards are perfectly fine, but defensive cards get the ban hammer, but that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, maybe let's recap real quick. In Classic Constructed, Count Your Blessings is banned, Germinate is banned, Scepter of Pain is banned, and Bonds of Ancestry Red is unbanned.
Yeah.
Katsu's back. Yay, it's a go.
Katsu's back. I think the ban of Scepter of Pain is a concession to people not willing to play AB3 or AB4 against Florian. So in a way, they make it easy for players to not make wrong sideboard decisions again. And Count Your Blessings the same. 0 people have resolved a Poison the Well in like my 20 last games, and people know I'm on CYB Nu. So that, like, to me, it's a little bit, we print counterplay to a card, but people don't play it. So the card is a problem because it doesn't have counterplay. That's to me a little bit.
I mean, I think the Poison the Well was not like a... I think it was okay if you played it, but it wasn't like a silver bullet, if that makes sense. Like, you still could definitely lose even if you played a well-timed Poison the Well.
Yeah, but like a perfectly timed Poison the Well is like 14 value on one card at instant speed.
Yeah, but then especially against Nu, they can just strip it from your hand. They can like... Then it's also non-block, so you can't do anything with it. They can just like bonds it out of your deck.
Yeah,
there's like a million things that like that card was like very awkward to play against the Count Your Blessings decks, which is why most people like just didn't bother.
Plus, short recap to my PT experience in London. I played Aurora, and day 2 I played against the Count Your Blessing Bravo with the shield. And I had 1 Poison the Well in sideboard, so I took that in because who's going to play Bravo without Count Your Blessings in this meta, I guess. And I sideboarded everything correctly and stuff, and I tried to set up a big Flicker Wisp turn and everything. And I resolved my Count Your Blessing, my Poison the Well on his last Count Your Blessing. It was not enough still.
That's crazy, okay.
Yeah, and he just came there and he told me like he never gonna... He's like having a success against all the Auroras, but he's never gonna go and pick up that deck again in his lifetime because it's such boring gameplay game. And I always don't like bans. somehow. I always feel like they just should let the cards in and let it play out, and let people figure out how to play against it, and maybe give some other answers to it than bans. But I kind of as well get it from, I guess, the game developer's perspective to just always have to check if it's a too defensive deck is gonna fuck up the meta, or is it
Yeah, the point
if there's
that
no board state hero like illusionist or anything that can just counter it totally, it's gonna get out of hand.
the thing that I kind of liked that they talked about in the banned and restricted as well was that they essentially built a defensive tool that's like generic and so like good that like every defensive deck ever is just going to play it for forever. Whenever they're going to print any new defensive deck or defensive strategy, there's just going to be like, oh, let's build it with counter blessings in it, because it's just like a very good baseline strategy. The same way that, Sink Below and Fate Foreseen are going to be in those defensive strategies.
Yeah, but then why is Sink Below and Fate Foreseen legal?
Yeah, I think because it just like can't have too many of those cards, is what I'm saying. Like if you play, let's say you play a defensive strategy, you play Fate Foreseen, Sink Below, Shelter, you play Counter Blessings, all 3 colors if they were ever going to unban blue. That's already like half your deck.
Perfect.
Just with like generic cards. And like that doesn't highlight like what your hero does at all, right? That's just generic good defensive value. And to some degree, I guess that happens with offensive cards as well, like, the Ravenous Rabble, stuff like
Ravenous
that.
Rabble into E-Strike into Snatch.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
a perfect lightning hero identity.
I agree. I think it's not like complete, it doesn't not exist in the offensive realm, but like at the same time we have seen that a lot of the offensive decks still get to keep like their mainstay cards. So like the specialization cards, like Aurora played the specializations, she played like her weapon was super important, she still played a ton of lightning attacks, whereas right now, like you said, like plays Bravo without the counter blessings package. Like you could play any Guardian and they all play the same because their hero ability and identity like doesn't matter if you're just playing fatigue counter blessings with it, right? Which also kind of brings up like another problem, that if it's ever the best strategy, you're just gonna go through like every Guardian LLing because it's like the best strategy, right? That you're going to have like, okay, now Bravo is gone. Now you're going to play Betsy with the exact same deck because like none of the Bravo cards like matter. Then you're going to play like Valda with the exact same deck. Then you're going to play Victor with the exact same deck, and so on,
Okay, I see. So I agree they should have made this Counter Blessings a Mystic Talent card. I agree.
Yeah, leave the blue in as well, yeah.
Exactly.
I honestly think if they did like anything like that, it wouldn't have mattered. Like I think that all the Mystic heroes would have just LL'd and they wouldn't have needed to ban Count Your Blessings or something.
Yeah, I mean, I get their point. It's just like whenever I want to play a defensive deck, then there is like, okay, there is Azalea. You cannot block out Azalea. Like it's impossible. It's so much unpreventable damage. The same for Vincent. There are decks that just work on this axis of you cannot prevent enough damage to survive. So either you're an aggressive deck and you kill me, or you just die. And then the out for that was a reason why I initially had Count Your Blessings in my deck, was like, I expected a lot of Ranger and I expected quite some Vincent because I thought she was stronger than she actually seems to be right now. And out of respect to those heroes, I was like, I just don't want to get paired into 2 Rangers and then just be locked out of a tournament because 30 Dominate hit my head. And I think that was supposed to be some sort of counterplay, because if they present like Dreadbore, your red unmovables in hand, like yeah, there are so many things Rangers can do to just mess with you, even if you had defense reactions. So in that matchup, if you weren't being aggressive, CYB, it was basically your only out. And I think I just need to revisit those matchups, because now, of course, you run Warmongers again if you expect a lot of Rangers, right? You need more specific cards. So I think it opens the meta and creates like an interesting angle for defensive decks. it was an easy way out. I agree. Like, just include 6
Too
cards
easy, yeah.
and like 30% of your matchups are suddenly favored. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just overall health of the game. And not so much that like the defensive decks were way too good right now or were like unbeatable by any strategy, anything like that. Like it didn't feel like that. It was just kind of like we realized that like this is not like a healthy pattern of gameplay. The same way that Drone of Brutality wasn't necessarily like a healthy gameplay pattern, even if it wasn't like necessarily overpowered.
Yeah, but Evergreen is fine.
Yeah,
Evergreen
Evergreen's an
sucks.
Earth card, you know.
I know. No. I'm. Of course, I'm being stubborn and challenging on purpose, right?
Yeah,
they
but
just
also I
spent my
think-
favorite card.
Yeah, but you made the point, like with the directs, like there's more directs. Why don't they ban these cards, right? But like if you just talk about like there's Dreadbro, there's other cards in Azalea, there's cards in Warrior which get around directs. There's CNC, there's Exude Confidence. Like every offensive deck, or most of the offensive decks have some way to get around directs or to make him bad for the other hero. And Counter Blessing was just poison the well only, which doesn't fit well into every deck, I guess.
Yeah. I agree. Also, I think the generic D-Reacts, they should be there because the generic attacks are there too, right? Like, it's completely fine.
You need to block
in
that
Project
snatch.
Blue, it's something else, right? Because I think they learned from Commoner a bit. But in CC, I think it's fine. And they just gave us Shelter from the Storm, right? So we have another 0/4/4. If you can afford it.
We have too much to talk about, so let's talk about the Florian bannings. Germinate and Scepter of Pain. Clearly, in my mind, targeted at Florian. I mean, Germinate, obviously, since it's just playable in Florian. Scepter of Pain was, I think, only played in Florian. I don't think any other.
But again, it's crazy. I expected a lot of Florian, so my reaction was, okay, include Ripple Away and AB4. Mm-hmm. And then I played a Florian in top 4, and I discarded Ripple Away, prevented Rune Chance, and played AB4, and they didn't bring Scepter, but I didn't know that. And it worked, right? It's just like, sometimes, maybe I'm overreacting a bit, but sometimes I feel like those bans are just, people don't want to bring the answers to those decks, and they don't do it, and then they complain, oh no, I can't prevent 4 arcane damage, and then things get banned. I get that, like, you lose 4 equipment slots, right? You lose 4 equipment slots, which is horrible into a hero like Florian, and then if they are on tempo, you're basically screwed because you can't block. But still, it's like, you don't want to go the extra mile in deck building, you net deck something that doesn't have AB4, and then you lose to Scepter. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I actually kind of agree on this one. Like, I think it's a bit weird that they chose to ban it. I think a lot of heroes also have access to like pretty like simple AB, like AB3 at least. I think most heroes can play in one way or another. But again, they say
Skullcap, there you have your AB.
Easy.
Yeah, but you don't usually have less life than stack Florian, right? Because he never attacks you. Yeah, I think it was like a little bit of a weird ban in this case, but I think they just wanted to prevent like Florian getting the Aurora treatment, because I think after the Count Your Blessings bans, he probably would have been like far and away the best deck in the format, and they just wanted to prevent like him speedrunning LL as well.
Yeah, and they said they're gonna print an Earth card, right, in High Seas, which would work perfectly well with Germinate. I think it's like Everbloom Live, the new Melt Earth card.
Yeah, it basically returns like cards back to your deck, so you could like return all your Germinates.
Yeah, because Germinate has effectively 0 cost. So you could play 6 Germinates without a Remembrance. And I get that. Like, that for me, that is like, okay, fine. And I get another Earth 3 block for it.
Mm-hmm.
But the Scepter ban, they said they didn't anticipate like amp effects. But I also heard on other podcasts, like the way Scepter and also Kraken Aethervein are worded, like it's obviously with amp in mind. It's not worded like, if this deals damage, create a rune chant, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's by design. Yeah. But I mean, I get it. It's okay. You don't have to worry about sideboarding, losing due to sideboarding anymore. That's okay. But the argument of, oh, it's too strong because it's unpreventable. Like, no, it's not. Simply, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought that it was like an interesting way of playing Florian that kind of like challenged the because otherwise Florian is just like a classic like mid-rangey like Runeblade, the way that Vincent also kind of is in some way. I don't know. I thought the Runeblade stack variants were always like kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's just another angle.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have a reason for the bans, and Florian did win a lot.
Yeah.
I think they just wanted to tone down the best deck and format a little bit and give it like less answers to the wide field, and I get that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, whenever I see spoilers, I'm like, was this necessary?
Let's get to the last one. Bonds of Ancestry Red unbanned. Ralph, are you gonna play Katsu?
Pamukatsu.
Hamakatsu? No, probably not.
I
don't
don't
think
know.
so.
The question is like, is this enough to bring back Katsu? Because it feels like very targeted at Katsu. Like, I don't think any other hero is gonna play like the combo lines. Zen is gone, obviously, so he can't play it. I don't think Ira is super interested in this.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so I think it's just going to be a Katsu card, and it's just going to return him back to where he was before he got nuked.
Yeah, but now he doesn't have Out of War and stuff like that as well. And
Yeah.
he only has 3 bonds, and he wasn't that great before as well. And I think there's still a lot of decks, like even Florian Boxfeld, and there's Jarl in there. There's still the Assassins to get around. There's so many directs in the meta as well, so I don't think it's a good time for him.
Yeah. So just like a little bit of a like if the people that are diehard Katsu fans, like at least now they have like a little bit more tools to actually play the hero.
There's a combo ninja to play now. That's good because Zen is gone, right?
Yeah.
And it will work for one event because people forgot how to play against Katsu. It's always like that.
Yeah.
Right?
You
They're
just
like,
don't block the first
I won't
attack.
block
Like,
your Surging Strike. Oh, I guess I'm dishonored now with Mask of the Pouncing Lings. So yeah, that will happen to you once, and then you'll respect Katsu.
That's the first thing I thought, like, how good is the Syndra matchup? Like, who is the better ninja? And then be like, say, yeah, you have to dishonor her, or else you'll be like, I think you're on the losing side.
Yeah. Okay, then I don't want to go into like all of the other bans that also happened in other formats, like Blitz and Living Legend. I quickly touched on Commoner. Reality Refractor is banned. That, like, I think everybody who played Commoner in the last year or so saw that coming. Enigma was just like a clearly problematic deck in my mind.
We learned it the hard way.
Yeah, we learned it the hard way. I think everyone saw this one coming. I think it's okay.
Yeah,
I think
even as an Enigma player, I have to agree with this one.
Yeah. Then we're gonna get to like the real controversial stuff in my mind, which was not the ban's order restrictions. It was the updates to Living Legend points and the decision to include Living Legends in the World Championship.
Yeah, they obviously want to get Kano out of here, and then they keep printing Kano hate cards. Yeah.
Clearly targeted at Kano.
Yeah,
right?
only. It's the only reason.
Let's talk about the Living Legend points first. So essentially, in the first year of a hero's like release, the Living Legend points they earn will be half. During the second year, there's no multiplier, and during the years after the second year, they're going to be multiplied by 1.5 times. They say they want to like prevent another Aurora situation, which is basically the hero comes out, and then like 6 months later, they're Living Legend.
Yeah, but they also say they're gonna increase the frequency of BNR announcements, and this could have been happening with Aurora, right? In the Aurora LL, they said they should have banned Flicker Wisp earlier. Like, yeah, you should have done that. I agree with, and it's not solving the issue of just like Aurora would still be legal with Flicker Wisp if they would just say, okay, we half her points, right? And I would have not liked to play another week against Aurora because there simply was no real counterplay to the deck, which I translate into English means I couldn't fatigue her. Repeating patterns. But I think if they just were to increase the BNR frequency and see, okay, there is a deck that is a little bit maybe too powerful, yeah, take away a card. Yeah. But the whole Aurora situation, I think, with the card from the Armory deck that got printed, like, I mean, in the end, they communicated it well, and I think they handled the situation well. But this LL change, I see they don't want to have an infinite amount of heroes in BCC legal. And I think the older a hero gets, the more restrictive it becomes for design. So the fact that Kano is still legal basically requires them to test every wizard card in the future ever to be balanced in Kano until Kano is living legend, right? So you have to test all the new cards with all the heroes that can legally play all those cards. And it's like, it's almost exponential. If no heroes leave, right? Then it's just an insane amount of balance testing. And I think that's what they want to prevent with this. Then, okay, like Kano now gets 1.5 multiplier. If he's suddenly bonkers with the new Burn Bear card, which I doubt he will be, then okay, he'll just be gone in a week or whatever. And it's fine. So I get that point. But on the other hand, like suddenly Riptide is good. All the Riptide players want to play Riptide, and then they only get to play in one season because, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I can totally see that. I'm not even like, it's not like I'm not sympathetic to them trying to fix like this format. But if I look at the Living Legend leaderboard right now, and I'm kind of thinking, okay, what would this change have had in effect? Like if we take the last year of like Living Legend points, what would this mean if we applied this like sort of system to the last year? It would mean that all the Mystic heroes would still be legal, and they wouldn't even be like halfway towards Living Legend, because we have seen like basically all the Mystic heroes, it was their first year until I think Pro Tour. No, not even, right? They were released in November or October of last year, something like that. So basically all of them would still be around, and there wouldn't even be like halfway towards Living Legend.
And the rest of the old heroes would be around as well because they didn't win anyway.
Yeah, then we look at like Dash and Azalea would be gone from the meta probably because they would have had times and a half. Kano will probably be gone because he got like some points, and that's essentially it. So and Aurora would still be around, of course. Like,
yeah, so the meta would be worse.
So my point is just kind of like, yes, I see all this, but like now we would just be like in the same meta we were before the Hunted, essentially. Like all of the Mystic heroes would still be here. And yeah, I don't know that like that would be such a great place to be either. And we would have just Living Legended like some older heroes that have been around for a while that were not like at all problematic during any of this like time.
Yeah, that is true. I never looked at it through that lens, and I think then it's even worse than I thought. But also, I think LSS, right, historically, if they realize that, oh, maybe that change wasn't what we had in mind or was bad for the game, they're going to change it back again. So yeah, let's see where this is heading.
I think what they said in the dev talk too, that like they want to give themselves a little bit of breathing room to make a mistake and not have it be like so impactful in the game. I understand that. Like what happened with Aurora was clearly like not intentional. And if they have this sort of system in place, they could have at least like saved the hero from immediately Living Legend, right? But to then go and make like all the heroes basically like earn half Living Legend points, it's just like, I think it's just such a like ham-fisted solution to like a pretty intricate problem. Like it's like being like, all right, we'll just have all the Living Legend points and we'll multiply them for all the old heroes. I think it's such a like, it's too simplistic to like really be satisfying, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe they should just stop printing new OP cards into Armory decks and just make Armory decks like decks for new players where you get old cards. And it's maybe money-wise that's not great for them, but I think it would be better for the game.
I actually like think the Armory decks are in a good spot. Like, they have a decent amount of power. They're good for both like existing players and new players. The cards kind of keep their value. It's kind of like the best possible scenario of like where Armory decks could have been. But like the problem seems to be that they keep like printing problematic cards, and then they have to shift everything else in the meta to like accommodate the Armory decks.
Yeah.
So like
Fun,
you
high
kind of had
octane
this
stuff.
situation where they released the Dash.io Armory decks, then everybody bought the high octanes for like a ridiculously high price, like all the new players, because they were like, oh, I need high octane to play Dash.io. And then they banned high octane, and now like all these new players that just bought into the game and have bought all of like the older cards, now their cards are like worthless again. So yeah.
And all the mechs went bad without high octane.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so salty about high octane banning. That's basically the takeaway.
That's
here.
your counter blessings.
Yeah.
Still salty.
That's the hill that I'm gonna die on.
But it's good. Like, I think it's funny, right? We all have our favorite cards, and like that's exactly what they want, right? That we get attached to our cards and to our heroes, and
then they destroy
if they take it away, we riot.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see an update to the Living Legend system like pretty soon again. Because I think
so too.
This is just like a way of like fixing one problem and creating like new ones. So we'll see.
By the way, I have one more thing on that topic with the bannings, and like they say, oh, they can't print new cards and stuff because they would be too OP or it's too hard to balance. But then they make LL a thing in Worlds, like in the top competition. It's like then you have to do like you can't design cards anyway like you want, because you have to keep that in mind that there's LL in competitive as well. Like, huh?
So
yeah, but they fixed LL now, right, with the bannings.
Sure.
This by far stood out to me as like the weirdest change in this whole announcement. Was that they said that Living Legend was going to be parts of the world's structure. So instead of having what was usually the case, you have CC, then draft again, then CC. Now it's going to be like CC, then draft, then Living Legend, or something like that. Or maybe the other way around, Living Legend first, CC at the end.
See, all that reasoning about it's too hard to balance, and then they make the unbalanceable competitive.
No, I think, yeah. The Living Legend thing is a bit difficult, right? There will always be just Starvo and then other decks.
My problem is like, well, what's the point of having like a Living Legend format if like all the stuff that's like broken is like banned anyway? Like that's the
then you come back to
all
that
the reason why they became Living Legend. Now they have to like ban all the cards because they are gonna balance them against the other heroes. It just seems like a really weird decision to me. Like they just banned Carrion Husk, Crown of Seeds, and so on. Like Crown of Seeds was a problematic card when it was legal in CC, so now they just have to ban it in Living Legend as well because they admitted they made a mistake. But like it seems so pointless. I like don't understand what their thought process behind this announcement more was. Clearly they have people like the heroes that they played like in the past, and they want to keep people attached to playing that hero. I understand that, but this doesn't really solve that, if that makes sense. Like if you were an Aurora fan, like now they're just gonna have to ban all the other heroes so you can play Aurora in Living Legends because
I'm still gonna play Aurora in
Living
Legends.
You can play Ball Lightning.
Sure. Yeah, it's fine. I'm happy to play Living Legend in Worlds. It's not like that, but it's just about the reasoning. It is a bit like sus, I guess.
Yeah, I think that by Worlds L format, I feel like will be sort of a little bit more open than it is.
Yeah.
Maybe because of some tech cards getting printed in CC, because that's another thing, right, of balancing LL is like printing expansion slot cards that are relevant in Living Legend. Like they did with the Briar card last set, or I think there's even like a Lightning that's an Auxilio card. Forget what I said.
Yeah,
that they're printed now.
Anyway, I think it's clear to me that they want the like World Championship to somehow be included in like a third format. They tried it with Blitz. It didn't really work. Like the Blitz just isn't like balanced either. Now they're trying with Living Legend. I don't think this is going to be like very popular.
Yeah, I think they'll settle with Project Blue.
I mean, maybe, who knows? To me, it's kind of like you have this premier format that's clearly like the best liked format, and you have like a very solid limited experience. Like the draft is personally my favorite format, but then like all the other formats are supposed to be like fun, and they don't necessarily have to be balanced. Like I understand every now and then it's fine to have like a competitive LL tournament or a competitive like commoner tournament or whatever. That's not the issue here. The issue is really that it's like the Worlds, like the format that you have to play or like the tournament you have to play if you want to be the best, or like show that you're the best at this game. And personally, I would think it's such a shame if we see like, I don't know, like someone who's like great at the game get just like steamrolled because they got unlucky into like some overpowered strategy in Living Legend that they didn't ban. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there won't be newer players at Worlds.
No, but like what we see, clearly like Pablo Pintor is now like the GOAT, right? I think that's like well established. But now if he has to, instead of playing like Enigma so like masterfully through like a very tight meta and like very strict competition, now he like plays all that, then gets to the LL portion. I don't know, let's say after these bannings, there's just, I don't know, Chain is completely broken now and he just gets rolled because Chain just happens to draw like the broken thing and they can't like balance it perfectly.
Yeah, but that's what they were doing. They just banned Runegate Chain basically out of the format.
Sure, I'm not saying that like they're not trying to balance it. I'm saying it's impossible. Like you can't balance two formats perfectly with like one set of cards, if that makes sense. And if they do, they will just ban like whatever is broken in Living Legend, then you just end up with Classic Constructed again.
Yeah, it's similar to like in other card games where you have curated formats, right? You have different formats with different ban lists, and like one is slightly more powerful, but all the problematic cards are gone, let's say. Yeah, I don't know. I always liked Living Legend and all the shenanigans that can happen there. Yeah, let's see. I'm curious. I think Starvo is still a little bit of a problem. I don't know how they could solve that. You can't just errata the hero and say like
No, I mean I have no idea how like the meta is or like what heroes are good right now or not. I think that's like kind of not the point. My point isn't that the format right now isn't balanced or that they're not doing a good job at balancing it. My problem is more that I think it's a fundamentally kind of unbalanceable format in the sense that like if they have to ban and restrict all the cards out that are broken, it's just gonna highlight the like next broken thing, because that's what Living Legend at its core kind of is, right?
Yeah.
Also, it comes back to this: if they print a new cards for heroes, right? Then they have to test it with all the legal heroes. Then in LL, they would have to do the exact same thing, right? If there is a new strong generic that every hero can play, Count Your Blessings looking at you, then they have to test it with every hero in Living Legend. And suddenly CYB Ultim wins an LL, what was it? Battle Hardened or something. And yeah, you can't just keep that track of that. You can't just test every card in every hero against every card in every other hero with every new set release.
Yeah. So we have about like 10 minutes left in the pod. Do you guys want to like quickly touch on the new set that we're going to see, like High Seas?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Gravy Bones just won their calling. With four people in the draft pot for the finals.
Wait, what?
Really?
4 people in the 4 gravies?
4 gravies and Gravy won.
Okay, I guess.
But
it's Gravy.
he resolved the Majestic in the end. Like he finished with the Conqueror thing.
And the boat.
Yeah, big boat into ally, which did 7 damage as well.
Okay. Who won? Do we know the person?
Even
it was 3 gravies in the end. 3 gravies.
Yeah, was it 3?
Yeah, it was 3. But still, yeah, but it was 3. It was 3 gravies.
Even one.
It was 3 gravies, 3 Marlins, 2 puffins.
Yeah. So yeah, you can get my opinion. I want to play a blue matters ally based deck all the way. Like that's exactly my jam. Just let me run 9 blue CYBs in this deck, and I'm fine. But I think I don't see. I think it will be okay in CC, but I don't see how it will be immediately the best deck in format, as some people fear. Actually, you would not believe that, Maurice, but I think there is something there with Puffin in CC. I've been liking the design a lot of those golden cogs, and I also have a cold foil master cog at home from Bright Light's pre-release that is still waiting to be played. I just took it off card market because I want to be playing it.
Yeah. So I think what we can all agree on is that the art of the set is insane.
As always, yeah.
I don't think we have like enough information yet to be giving you guys like the deets about what cards are like really, really good or really bad in limited and classic constructed. So far, from what I've seen, there's like a couple of combos that are like really, really good that are not like super obvious at first. So one thing that I've seen like Simon Nielsen do is crack his gold with Marlin to make a Goldfin Harpoon, which is free. You just have to tap your hero for it. And then he played a trade-in and discarded his Goldfin Harpoon because it's a card that's just in your hand. And so you just like draw a card for free essentially, which I thought was super nice and like kind of like a good combo to like keep your eye on.
That's cool.
Then there's a bunch of like Nimblism Matters cards in the set. So there's
Nimblism Matters.
NIMBY!
Yes, yeah. So there's NIMBY, which like searches your deck for a Nimblism, which we all know is probably pretty good. The thing is, it doesn't have Go Again, so you have to like find a way to give your NIMBY Go Again, which like the premier way of just doing that seems to be the rum, the gold. What is it called? The
Gold Kiss Rum.
Gold Kiss Rum, yeah. So Gold Kiss Rum into NIMBY seems very, very powerful.
The classic play.
Then there's this like block card that actually only blocks 1, but like if it goes to the graveyard, you gain 3, 2, or 1 life.
Yeah, you can also discard this to gain the life.
Yeah. That card is insanely good with the Rally the Coast Guard, because you can Rally the Coast Guard, discard your block card, Rally the Coast Guard still blocks for 5, and you get the 3 life from the discard.
Yeah.
So it's
in
just
some
like
scenarios, this is basically a Sigil of Solace that also draws you a card.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
So these like the block plus Rally the Rearguard seem like very good and relevant cards in this format.
Yeah. Also, this stuff that, like, I've seen the Scurvy. I watched 2 or 3 games, and I've been really liking the Scurvy.
Oh yeah,
interactions.
There's a
like
4th hero that you have to open or draft.
Yeah. And it's just a pirate, an untalented pirate otherwise.
No, he's a thief. He's a pirate.
Oh, he's a thief,
hero,
right?
Yeah.
And the Scurvy, the specialization is so cool. It's like if an opponent would draw a card from a gold, instead you do this. And I like the flavor of that a lot. And it's, haha, I got him.
He also comes with his own companion. Sticky Fingers, like an octopus that steals gold of your opponent.
Yeah, it's so
whenever
cool.
it attacks. Very, very cool. So yeah, I think it's that the ships seem pretty good. The pirate ships, like all of them seem to have their own like little niche.
Yeah.
High Tide seems to be quite easy, like a quite simple requirement because you have so much gold. So if you have enough blues in your deck, you can just like pitch a gold and then play your pirate ship and meet the 2 blues and pitch zone requirement quite easy. I feel like.
No. I'm a little bit sad that like the Sunken Treasure, the Majestic block card, is not generic. But yeah, that's that. We also have a Ravenous Rebel, inverse of Ravenous Rebel, the Murderous Rebel, that is a blue 0 power attack with Go Again, and when this attacks, you reveal the top card of your deck, and then it gets plus X, where X is the pitch value. So it's definitely something for Blue Matters decks. I've been waiting for this card for so long. I mean, the set looks very cool. I just haven't thought about playing limited in this set at all.
Yeah.
I can't really. I just can say, okay, 7 power, 3 costs with high tide. Like, they look insane. Also, from the few games I watched, they look like very, very good cards. Yeah, it seems like mid-range grind fests, like the limited
Not
games I've watched so
necessarily.
fast.
Like, there definitely is some like combo stuff, especially Scarab and Marlin. I've seen put down like 19 damage turns. So I think it's going to be an interesting limited environment for sure. What do you guys think of like the Codex reprint? Codex of Frailty is going to get the legendary treatment, same as CNC.
I think it's fine. I think it's good.
Yeah.
CC did go down in the beginning a little bit in price, but stabilized again. And I think more people should have access to Codex of Frailty. So yeah, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering if like Codex is gonna keep being so expensive actually, because like CNC was like a generic, so every deck kind of wants it. But Codex is like Ranger Assassin, which is like if neither Ranger or Assassin is good, then I doubt Codex will be a $60 Majestic still.
Yeah, that's a fair point, but it's such a good card. I started boarding out Codex against Earth Heroes because it's just bad. But yeah, a valid point. And I like the artwork. Like, I like the new Codex
I like
artwork.
it too. The artwork is nice.
No, I think that's good. What I don't like is a Spell Void dagger that you can buy back with Syndra.
I think it's maybe it was necessary. I don't know.
Yeah, apparently
There's gonna be another Katsu card, Preach Modesty.
Yeah, I
It's
think
gonna
it's
do
just one of those.
Modesty.
It's one of those cards that you just don't play.
Hero abilities can create cards.
Yeah.
Tokens are cards. I mean, sure.
Yeah, it's very good against Zen.
Yeah, it's good against Zen. It's good against like I don't know. Does it even work against Florian? Because the hero ability doesn't create.
No, that's a
token,
replacement
right?
effect.
Yeah, it's a replacement effect.
But like, imagine you play Stubby Zen in LL, and you play the mirror. Do you bring this in or not?
Why would I? It just seems like a lost card.
It's something that like you would discard with Katsu.
It's like can't make. Yeah, exactly. It's I can't make my tiger. Okay, like activate my boots and make a tiger anyway.
Yeah,
it's not even a free block.
I think
it's not even a 3 block.
I think Preach Modesty, I'll buy 10 copies when it's at like 5 cents.
Yeah.
And then in 5 years they'll print something, and then
honestly,
it will spike.
If this was a blue 0 cost 3 blocks, you still probably wouldn't play it because
I just wanted to say, is this card so good that it has to be a red and a 2 block?
Yeah, I don't
where
understand.
does it come into play?
Imagine in a week we're proven so wrong.
Maybe we're gonna get like completely demolished, and it's gonna be like the best card in the set. But...
Is it relevant for the new? Okay, so Puffin can't make a golden cork. Fair.
Sure.
Marlin
for turn.
Can't create a goldfin harpoon.
Yes.
For 2 turns, right? And
because for 2
what
turns,
is Gravy
you
Bones
can't make like a gold. Like some heroes make like gold tokens. No. Like you can't make fealties with the draconic royal heroes.
Oh, and you can't make gold with Kasai. And Gravy can.
No, but the gold from Kasai is created by the attack hitting. No, it's your next target attack gains.
Is it okay?
I don't know, but actually,
but it is a hero ability. Yeah, I don't know. That we would need to look up.
Yeah.
Gravy Bones doesn't create anything. So my man is safe.
We picked the most relevant card to discuss about in this limited time we have.
Definitely,
for you
guys.
Yeah,
definitely.
This segment is called Breaking the Format.
Let's talk about the most irrelevant card in the set.
I also wanted to talk about something irrelevant as well. Do you know what HMS stands for? Like for the ships?
No.
I think it's Her Majesty something from the...
Yeah, so why are these called pirate action but not royal action? Because it's ships from the Royal Navy, right? Should be if it's HMS. Didn't think about that.
I didn't think about that, LSS. Also, I think I saw a post somewhere on Blue Sky with the Conqueror of the High Seas, where they tried to calculate the size of the ship based on the mast of the ship in front of it. And yeah, Apparently, it's like ginormous. Yeah, but as you guys can tell, we haven't been diving deep into the
We're
new
ready.
format, except of all the only irrelevant cards. And
We will tell you after pre-release.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
Yeah. Also, I think for this will be Nationals format, no?
This will be a Nationals format.
Crazy. Oh no, so I have to put effort in.
So not only that,
Start now.
Bologna is in like 2 weeks. Nationals is in like 3 weeks. So we gotta get going on like these formats.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do draft camp. We'll be fine. Also, Grey Bones does not have a weapon, right? Like at all.
It's a compass.
Yeah, it's an offhand. Yeah, but that's
in the draft format. You mean? Yeah, you're right. He doesn't.
So maybe
have
it's an armory deck exclusive or something. Maybe that's their way of balancing it for the draft format and for sealed. Because if he would also have like a blunderbuss or something or a dagger, then you couldn't fatigue him in limited.
What should his weapon be? Like lore tech, like from the lore.
Let's look at his picture. He has a pistol in front of his shirt. Like, he has a pistol strap, the young Gravy Bones.
Mm-hmm. But there he's also still alive.
Yeah, also, what's crazy is he has an eye patch, but then the adult one, he doesn't need an eye patch.
Because he doesn't have eyes.
In between dying, he got, like, eye surgery or something. Yeah, he just has stinky hands. That seems to be his weapon in the adult one.
Interesting.
Stinky hands. That will literally be his weapon.
Fishy hands.
Is there a one-handed generic weapon that you could give him? No, right?
No. Oh, wait, Quicksilver Dagger. No?
That's a warrior. But you could play Gravy Bones with a Talishar.
Yeah, cool. And then you lose basically his hero ability that is printed on compass.
Okay, never mind. That was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just genius.
Yeah, maybe.
Also, he's the only hero in the set that has a D-React. In the limited format, at least.
Ooh, what is it?
It's a majestic Blood in the Water, 0 for 4 D-React. When this defends, you may discard a card or destroy the top card of your deck if that card has Watery Grave.
Whoa, it's 0 for 6 D-React?
Yeah, pretty good.
Whoa.
So, I'm sure someone is going to get blown out by this card in the pre-release. I'm actually surprised. Not like I haven't seen anything on camera.
Also, I love the artwork of Blood in the Water. Is that? Yeah. I think that's the artist that also did the Illusionist auras, like Parable of Humility. I think
you might be right.
I think she's from the artwork aesthetics, it's my favorite artist. Her name is Olga Tereshenko.
Yeah, her stuff always looks like it was made for like a gallery painting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, I would love that as a playmat, Blood in the Water. Imagine full art.
So, after a very short review, who do you guys think is gonna be on top after like first week of Nationals? Now that we've seen like a little bit of the new cards, we've seen like what's gonna get banned.
Polycranka.
I think it's just not gonna have that much of an impact, and we're gonna see like new LL in the first week.
Dude, honestly, I think Puffin. I think Puffin, because like you remember this combo deck that this Dash.io combo deck. Wait, who played it? Sam Sutherland, was it?
Yeah.
Just imagine like a system reset combo deck with golden cog tokens and with the Polycranka and with the armory deck item that draws a card and all the crank shenanigans. I think there's something. So I bought my system resets recently because I think there might be something there.
But do the golden cog tokens?
They have crank, right? You can system reset them. They come in, you crank them, you get action points.
Yeah, but they come in with 0 counters if you... Oh no, Enter the Arena with a Steam counter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you just get a ton of action points, and you can run any number of copper cogs in your deck. Come on.
Yeah, I don't really see it. I won't lie. I don't believe in this shenanigans.
No, I think there is something there.
Because you needed the high octane to in the end it was the high octane plus like pistol attacks that like dealt the damage.
Yeah, but instead of the high octane action points from boosting, you now get the Steam golden cog action points. And then but you can't run the Dio pistol, right?
Yeah, you can. That's a dash spec.
Then forget what I said.
It's over.
It's over. But is there something maybe then with a max? Like, is
With
there
max?
a
Why
system
with max?
reset max deck?
Yeah, but his the problem with system reset at max is that if you flicker his tokens, they don't come in with counters, because the counters get put on by the hero ability and not the token itself.
Oh, that's yet another hero ability, by the way, that the ninja card is preventing the tokens from.
No. Oh no, yeah, the max
Now,
counter. You're
Preach
correct.
Max
Modesty, max unplayable. Thanks,
Yeah.
Alice.
You heard it here first, guys.
I think that's a good end for this episode.
Yeah.
That sums up this
Our
episode.
prediction is that Max is not going to be good in CC anymore. Sorry,
because
guys.
of Preach
Preach
Modesty.
Sorry, Max lovers.
Yeah. All right.
I think that does it for this week's episode.
Kind of derailed completely, but
Yeah. Ralph, anything to add?
No, just preach modesty. It's fine.
All right.
we should rename the podcast Preach
Yeah.
Modesty.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to this week's show. You can find us on Twitter under the handle at LDFpod. That's LDFPOD. On Blue Sky under the handle at PuckWizardPatrick or at SignalJammer. Or you can send us an email under questions@ldfpod.com. We're looking forward to hearing from all of you and hope you tune in again when it's time for the LDF podcast.